have more experiences. You know, that's the lesson, right? If anything, right? Between me and Anil, right? And see, like, the thing is, like, people like Anil, they try to complicate things by trying to apply purpose and meaning to things. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, a guy like me is like, dude, there's no purpose and meaning behind how we met, right? The truth of the matter is, you're just a fucking big loser with no friends, dude. Right? And you need to have more experiences, right? Same applies to me, right? That was the whole point and purpose of us meeting at all, if anything, right? We need to have more experience. We both need to go out into the world and have more experiences, right? And we're not gonna have that experience by standing around by being around each other all the fucking time, dude. Okay? We have reached our limits, months, quite some time ago, right? It's like these people they try to take on the added stress and benefit, right? Because these people that don't have any friends, they're not outgoing, so it's like they try to take on this unnecessary burden and stress of trying to pay someone, right? But in the act of doing that, right, they just create more stress and more drama, right? Right. So yeah, but this bitch, it's like, dude, you need to have more experiences, dude. You know what I'm saying? There's absolutely no reason for you to be attached, or you need to have more experience, and the same applies to me as well, dude. You know what I'm saying? He tries to complicate things by trying to apply meaning and purpose to things. Like, dude, like, there's nothing that's meant for us, at all. You know what I'm saying? The idea of me sticking around, like, that's something that you just made up in your head, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand where this idea came from. Like, the truth of the matter is, like, honestly, you're just a loser. You need more friends, right? Like, you need more friends, and I need more friends. That's the truth of the matter. And your wife, she needs more friends too. Well, now whether or not she goes about doing that, right? That's a whole completely separate discussion, right? And I don't care. It's not my problem. You know what I'm saying? Anything about my personal life, you could have asked me, within this year's time span. You've had plenty of opportunities to ask me, right, during off hours, right, right. Like, there's a time and a place for everything, right? If you wanted to get to know me, right, talking at the gas station, hanging out at the gas station is not the appropriate time, right? But it's not my fault. Like, so it's not my fault, my problem that you have a family to take care of and you don't have the time to go out and socialize and have more life experiences. That's not my fucking fault, not my problem. You see what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? The longer we're around each other, the worse we're gonna be, Anil. Like, that's the truth of the matter. Like, the sooner you recognize that, the better. Like, the longer we're around each other, the worse we're gonna get. Right? We're not getting better around each other. Right? That's just the cold hard truth. Right? And the sooner you recognize that, the better. Right? You know what I'm saying? If you don't want to have more experiences, that's fine. That's on your part. But I can't afford to just stick around and just and stew in your filth. You know what I'm saying? If you can only pay so much, that's perfectly fine. I don't hate you, but I'm gonna have to move on.